Welcome back to Radio Chatskill. I'm Tim Bruno. The world of home design is ever changing, but there are a few prevailing themes that home decor designers and experts say will be popular in 2025. We spoke to Mark McLaren of Sullivan Mercantile in Jeffersonville, New York, which specializes in custom textile decor and upholstery, about what will be trending in home decor in 2025.
Overall, all of the trends in 2025 kind of fall in under two umbrellas. One is, and really predominant, is a sense of creating a home that is a refuge from the world. The word nesting comes up a lot. The word cozy comes up a lot. That's one. And then the second really is sustainability, which is a very powerful driver for a lot of the decisions that are being made in the home.
Let's talk about nesting and being cozy. How can folks do this? What are some of the trends you're seeing in terms of like the cozy trend?
Sure. The big open space design, it's still very applicable, but it's getting cut down into smaller spaces. So think about kitchen nooks, a little reading corner, spaces that are single use, and defined, for one purpose, and giving a bit of enclosure and a bit of cutoff from the rest of the world. And it really, mirrors what, within the home, what people are looking for the home, that is getting cut off from kind of a turbulent world at this point and finding a place of rejuvenation and rest.
So it's creating a space within a space that's cozy.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And home builders are really finding that people are asking now, after some years of the open design, are asking for, smaller dedicated spaces like dining rooms or dens. And we see that in our work as well.
The house has always been a home refuge kind of idea, but like within that, finding even a smaller place to go.
That's right. But over time, the home goes through other trends as well. We're seeing this time where the home is a refuge. At other periods, before, let's say, the financial crisis of 2008, the aesthetic of the home was a trophy home. So this sense of the home as a refuge, has obviously it's always been a refuge, but it's taking much more prominence after the turmoil of the pandemic in particular.
So if it's not showy, what are some colors or textures or patterns that help drive this particular trend?
Sure. Well, let me start first. On the sustainability piece, there's a strong resurgence in antiques. Now, over the, in the recent past, mid-century, has been prominent. And that's been pushed, by Gen Z and millennials, which now they make up 30% of the home decor spend in the U.S. right now. So a real sizable piece. But interest in sustainability and in upcycling and repurpose is driving a interest in periods beyond mid-century. Wood tones, let's say, in the home are moving beyond blondes and kind of light tans and moving back toward richer, browns and reds. So that's having an effect on the colors that are being used in the home.
Sort of earthier tones.
Yes, exactly. Furthermore, with the sustainability, nature is impacting choices in design, and earth tones are now making a big return. Now that's, I think, being driven from two different directions. One is that upcycle and the repurpose and the sense of reclaiming work from past periods. That work often tended to be in darker hues. So that is pushing the choice of color just by that process. But the influence of nature and the importance of nature, again, particularly after the pandemic, kind of the getting a sense of rejuvenation and resource out of nature, that's affecting the choice of colors.
Yeah, so these two overarching trends of cozy nesting and then sustainability intertwine here when you look at the color choices or textures as well.
Yes, exactly.
What can folks do to kind of understand how to do this themselves?
Well, there's a lot of things you can do. the move toward antiques, that's readily available in this area. You know, there's tons of antiques resources there.
What if you don't think you know a lot about antiques? Is there a way to kind of start small or kind of find things you like?
Sure. I mean, there's tag sales, you know, there's online auctions, all of those, you know, things. Online auctions, just be careful. They're very addictive. It's entertainment for me. But yes, absolutely. And then, you know, of course, we do work on refinishing, that kind of work, as well as other companies here in the area like Liberty Fine Furnishings and Upholstery. But all of this is also easily done at home. You can learn anything, literally anything, on YouTube. So if you have a particular piece that you're interested in refinishing or reupholstering, that's all available on YouTube. One tip: you could find something in an antique store, or a tag sale, an heirloom. You could do a full refinish of it, strip it, sand it, stain it, seal it. That's a bit time consuming, but absolutely doable. One thing that we use at the atelier is a product called Restore a Finish, and we call it a wood refresh. This literally, in very little time, takes you about 65 or 70% of the way toward a full refinish. It's a very easy product. You use it in a well-ventilated area, but you rub it on with a sponge, let it sit for 5 minutes. It dissolves the seal that's been there, either the lacquer or the veneer. It gives a quick restain. 5 minutes later, you wipe it off. We finish with a product called Feed and Wax, which is a liquid wax. And then, boom, your piece looks brand new. It's really very simple to use and something that anyone in the home can do.
And do you think that there are any kind of trends that are on the way out?
On the way out? No, I mean, I think that things are being adjusted. For instance, minimalism has obviously been important for a very long time. Minimalism is now being just, slightly tweaked. So you'll see American colonial minimalist, or you'll see French country minimalist. It's kind of like that category is just being broadened just a little bit, in the same way that the color palette is expanding. We're seeing a lot of movement toward pattern on pattern, texture on texture. Again, nature influencing interior design. So, woods and stones together, the textures of woods. We just did a reupholster of a mid-century chair that was actually found in a hallway in New York City. A kind of an iron base, a very bold wood accent. We reupholstered it with a kind of a silver velveteen, and just looks fantastic. So this was a found object. We did just a quick refresh on the metal, quick refresh on the wood, and boom, the thing just pops. Just beautiful.
Sustainability in action.
Exactly.
Anything else that we should be aware of in terms of trends and design in 2025?
Again, I think, a lot of these categories are just expanding and broadening a little bit. So wallpapers have done a comeback. We have a wonderful artist, Trisha Paoluccio. She is a pressed flower artist, and she's transferred a lot of her work to textiles and to wallpapers. Houseplants actually are making a big comeback.
Bringing nature back inside.
Exactly.
Nature.
And nurturing and taking care of something, in the home. 2/3 of the garden centers in the United States reported a 15% increase last year in the purchase of home plants, bringing nature back into the home, and just a general sense that nature is influencing our design. It's interesting. It's what you see can look reflective or of a retro 70s, 60s, 70s aesthetic. There's something to that. Each generation or every few years, people look for kind of new inspiration. But much of this is being driven, I think, in the same way that it was driven in the 70s, a sense of a bit of a crisis maybe in the environment, that kind of thing, is pulling us toward that look as well. So the bringing in earth tones, bringing in the influence of nature, wanting to kind of feel nature in the home, again, to go back to what we started with, to create a rejuvenating kind of nest in the home. So it's interesting to watch. The trend is kind of being influenced from different directions.
Now that you mention it, and I think about it, back in the 70s growing up, Mom had houseplants, macrame, and mushroom prints.
Exactly.
So, there you go. Mark
Exactly.
McLaren is the principal at Sullivan Mercantile in Jeffersonville, New York. Textile decor for the home business and hospitality. You can find Sullivan Mercantile on Instagram and Facebook and online at sullivanmercantile.com. Mark, thank you.
Thank you, Tim.